We've been going across division, and on today's episode, we land on the NFC South. Is Bryce Young ready to take another step forward for the Carolina Panthers? Are the New Orleans Saints on the march for Arch? Shout out to Cuzzo. And then you already know. We got to see if Michael Penix is ready to take the reins and get the Atlanta Falcons back to the playoffs. And is Baker Mayfield still going to hold down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Y'all know me and Stevo going to talk about it all right after this.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, joined by Stevo. So if you tuned in, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stevo, what's the word?
Let's good. Let's get through this weird ass goddamn division.
For real. But last year, the NFC South is shaped up pretty well, considering how challenging it was for all these teams within the South. The Bucs was at the top, followed by the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. A lot of things transpired within this division. You seeing Kirk Cousins pretty much saying, I ain't doing nothing for Atlanta. And then you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go out and add a talented wide receiver to an already talented wide receiver group in the Mecca Ibuka. Bryce Young gets some more pieces added to him. And my man's Derek Carr just retired out of nowhere on the New Orleans Saints. But we're going to kick this thing off talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Steve-O, in your observation, do you think Michael Penix is ready to go ahead and have a good season for the Atlanta Falcons?
I think so. They done beefed up that line quite a bit over the last few years. That defense is humming for the most part. Could use and now, like I said, like we said and like we covered over the past draft, they did a hell of a job of getting everything they really needed on the defensive side, bringing in a linebacker, didn't they bring in Michael as well?
Yeah, they brought in two of the top guys.
Top guys. So like two of the top defensive players arguably in the draft, along with, like I said, probably one of the best running backs in the league. We ain't fully seen his potential, but the potential we have seen on a weird ass team like that, hey, we know that he has a ceiling that we still haven't seen yet. And Bijan Robinson, Drake London probably had the best year of his career this past season. He was just fucking London the last few since he came in the league. Now we call that motherfucker Drake. Now he Drake London. But yeah, I think he ready. I like I said, when they made the decision, everybody was questioning the decision. Oh, you just gave Kirk Cousins $100 million. Why? What are you doing drafting a quarterback? I'm like, that's the perfect situation. You got somebody that's a notorious winner for the most part at the quarterback position. Been in a lot of big games, played for multiple teams, was successful for multiple teams, and you don't know what he was going to be coming off that injury, and to have a possible somebody that could sit and watch or somebody that could come in when they need to, which was their case of he had the best of both worlds. For the most part, he sat and watched. Then when his number was called when Kirk got hurt, he stepped right in, and when Kirk wasn't playing good. So I feel like he's always shown that he was one of the best QBs in that class that he was drafted in. So I think it's up to him what type of year he gonna have.
I agree, and I gotta give show love to him, man. When he came in, he looked like he belonged. He didn't look like, you know what I'm saying, the game was too fast for him and anything like that. He looked like he was well prepared and ready to take over the reins. Hence why we are here. We are where we are today with the Atlanta Falcons, where Michael Penix is expected to go out there and make some noise for them in a division to where it always go either way. I know the last few seasons we've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pretty much have a stranglehold on the NFC South, but it's always a dogfight between those teams, and it's always hard fought battles amongst those four teams within the AFC South. But I really like what the Atlanta Falcons did this draft, Steve-O. Those two pass rushers we talked about, that's Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. really, really solid picks. And then they go out there and address the back end, which is going to be good for them moving forward and adding one of the best safeties that I thought was in the
Yeah.
draft that I really like in safety Xavier Watts. And then you go
Yep.
find another one in Billy Bowman Jr., who a lot of people, including in our circle, felt like Billy Bowman Jr. was one of those guys that you go and pick up. So you go out there, you already know that your offense was pretty damn good. They just needed more stability from the quarterback spot. And now you go out there and you finally take some pass rushes and place extra emphasis by trading up for James Pierce Jr. and hope that Raheem Morris can go out there and get these guys ready to go. And that's one of the best things about it, because we seen, look, I'm not comparing the Falcons to the Eagles, but you seen that if you get some dogs on the defensive side and you get them up to speed, they can make some noise. So it's going to be
Mhm.
all on the coaching and all on those players to see if they are ready to rise to the occasion. But when it comes to Michael Penix Jr., I believe he's absolutely ready for this moment, because what else is there to expect? Yeah, it ain't like he hasn't had a lot of challenges in college before he even came into the NFL, and he waited his turn and he took the job and never gave it back. So I
And
think,
that's how it
yeah.
should be.
Hey, Steve-O, off topic real quick. The Falcons did what the Steelers should have did. Stop playing around with these old guys. See what you got in the young guys to push the thing forward. But that's
Yep.
just another topic for another day.
Yeah, we gonna be dissing them a lot to get used to it. But
Yeah,
yeah, they did everything like you should be doing. Like I don't think it's a tremendous amount of pressure on this team to be winning right now. I think they're in the stage of they kind of in the middle where they got some pieces where they could work with, and they got some pieces where they think they could turn into a core. So they probably a couple years away from really competing, but I like the direction they're going. Um,
agreed.
but I think not only is it going to be a big year for the quarterback, it's going to be a big year for Arthur.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be big for a lot of them guys over there to make sure they get it done, bro. And you got to make sure that offense is humming to be able to compete with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers that we about to talk about. Already had Michael Evans and Chris Godwin. Then you go and add Emeka Ibuka and Stevo. He fell way than what I didn't expect my man's Tej Johnson to fall like that. I expected him to fall because he was so light. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I ain't expect him to fall to the seventh round, and they was able to pick him up. And then on the defensive side, you add guys like Hassan Reddick, and you already had Vita Veo, big ass over there, who's monster. So you expect them and Todd Bowles to kind of be on that same type of trajectory that they always been on. Plus, Baker Mayfield is gonna come out to play. What are your expectations for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season, though?
They kind of like I always said in my mind that like they kind of like the Steelers of the South. Like they just a constant team that you got to look out for. You got to give them respect because they still have players from that championship that they won a couple years ago with Brady. They still have some of the people there coaching wise that was there. So they still kind of in that mind frame of compete at all times because they got those type of players, especially on the wide receiver side, the defensive side, and yeah, for that's mainly where it's at. But yeah, I think they're going to be fighting for 1 and 2 in this position. They're easily one of the best teams in the division. They one of the best well coached teams in the division. Depth is probably something they ain't been. They're not as deep as they once were, but compared to other teams, they definitely still pretty strong. So yeah, like I said, they're one of the most consistent teams in this division history. So they like that's why I call them the Steelers of the South.
For sure. I think they're gonna be able to still be able to produce. I'm gonna be interested to see like what happens with them on the offensive side of the ball, though. Even though I don't think it's gonna be a huge thing, simply
Hmm.
because I believe Dave Canales, who now went over there with but they've been lost him. I'm tripping. I'm thinking of somebody
Yeah.
else. I don't know why I was thinking about Duval for some reason.
Duval.
but but I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go out there and still hold down the fort. I mean, what else am I supposed to expect? You already got the two good wide receiver duo in there, one of the best in the league, and then you got a very good quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and they know how to play football the right way. And Todd Bowles, regardless on who's on the defense, he gonna be able to bring pressure. He gonna be able to find out a way to outcoach on most days. Um,
Mhm.
the opposing team, they do have a hell of a schedule, though, Steve-O. We talking about this thing kicking off in a division with Atlanta, then Houston. We don't know what the Jets are gonna be. Then you got Philly. Don't know about Seattle. Don't know about the Niners. But then Detroit. I mean, I guess it's kind of balanced a little bit if you looking at it, but you
It
got
ain't easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got some challenges within those first few weeks before you get to that week 9 bye. But I think that they still can come out on top on a lot of those games. It's gonna come down to how they perform as a unit, though.
And Baker.
Yeah.
Baker ain't coaching. I think that's kind of how this team's gonna go. You know what you're gonna get from the defense. You know what you're gonna get from the wide receiver room. You kind of know what you're gonna get from the running back year with Bucky Irvin. That the running back class,
Hmm.
um, or room, I should say, with Bucky Irvin and some of the other players they got down there, which I feel like could be a little bit better. But that's more on the. I feel like they could have adjusted and improved that online a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, and I think they're gonna be fighting for one or two.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see, though. But I don't think nobody right now has them. But I think the Atlanta Hawks could potentially jump them. But it's gonna be all up on them. It's not gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be on them to take care of business because I think the Atlanta Falcons gonna be good, but the Atlanta Falcons gotta put up right now. And you gotta still show love to those other guys over there in Tampa Bay for them the guys to hold it down. But now we move on to the Carolina Panthers, Steve-O. I think that they had a solid draft. I think they really did good with addressing the wide receiver. I know you was not really a big fan of my man's Ted McMillan, but they did pick him up. They did go out and get a rusher in Princely sorry, Princely. I ain't even gonna try his last name. And then a couple other good players too. And then apparently Jimmy Horn Jr. coming out of Colorado is putting up some good tape for them and seeing what they can do. And then they added Hunter Renfro. First of all, I didn't even know that Hunter Renfro was dealing with a health issue that kept him out
I
all last season. I was wondering why nobody picked him up.
I thought he retired.
No, he was dealing with some crazy
I
health
could have.
thing.
I could have. I mean, it makes sense now, but I could have sworn he announced his retirement like a couple months ago.
Yeah, bro. It
Maybe he
was
came.
yeah, he was dealing with some health stuff. And like they played some decent football, you know what I'm saying? Didn't all translate to wins at the end of the season, but it looked like Bryce Young belonged finally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And hey, do you think the Carolina Panthers are ready to take a step forward? They did miss out on a key acquisition in free agency though, with Milton, my man's oh my god, why I
I
can't
know you're
remember the
talking
name.
about Milton. I can't think
Milton
of his first
Williams.
name. Milton
Yeah,
Williams. Yeah,
yeah, from New England, from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
They
Yeah,
offered him the money. He said, "I'm taking the bigger money," and went to New England. But
yeah.
what are
That
your
was tough.
expectations for these Carolina Panthers?
If they would have got Milton, they was kind of gonna be rivaling Atlanta because I felt like they had enough to, and I seen enough towards the end of last year where I felt like they could do enough. But yeah, like even with like they getting Tech McMillan, you still got Xavier Leggett over there. You still got some other wide receivers in Brian Burns, right? Not Brian Burns. What's his name? Brian, what's his name? They got another wide receiver over there, I know. But yeah, you got them. You got a decent running back room, which I feel like they relied on towards a lot. And it was one thing about Bryce Young and the whole situation, him getting benched, and people thought that was gonna shake his confidence.
Right,
One thing I know about Alabama motherfuckers, if you play for Nick Saban, it's hard to break their confidence. Because if you can play for Nick, your confidence been questioned, attacked in multiple phases of anything. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker got benched in his spirit more than once in Alabama.
we're
So
talking about
he
benched in
kind of,
theory.
yeah. So he kind of showed like I feel like he to be able to be benched in the NFL. And I don't know the percentages, but I'm pretty sure the percentage is high as fuck that they don't recover from that. For
Right.
him to do that and recover and still actually look like a productive quarterback and a quarterback that was worth taking in the first pick of his draft, I feel like I can believe in him just a little bit now to say, yeah, he can take a little bit more of a step next year.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that it's gonna be major for him though. I think it's
Yeah.
just gonna be one of them things you gotta wait and see and hope that hey, if he can get off to a fast start, he'll be good. I think that'll be a way that you can go out there and compete with Atlanta and then potentially challenge the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it's all about that progression. I think that this coaching staff for the Carolina Panthers, they given him a lot on the offensive side now to where there's not many holes that you need to fill moving forward. There's still a work in progress for sure on both sides of the football. But to your point, you got weapons galore. Your running back room was already solid. O-line is still, a work in progress. I don't think it's necessarily bad though. But you got weapons out the wazoo now. Adam Thielen is still there, like you said. Xavier Legette. You
That's
picked
what I
up
was
Pat
thinking of.
McMillan, yeah, and then you got Jim Jr., who a lot of people are feeling good about.
I like
So
him. Yeah.
yeah, so I think you're gonna be able to compete. You're gonna be able to challenge some guys. Now it's just all about Bryce Young and how you able to take that step forward and be able to execute within the game plan. Because the head coach over there, Dave Canales, he did a really good job on bringing him around. And to your point, hey, sometimes a guy need to get benched and see what the hell it's like. Now, when we give you that opportunity, you just got to make sure you that damn tough and that damn confident in yourself. You ain't getting benched again. So shout out to him for ending the
Because he
season on
could
a
have
high note,
easily been Zach Wilson.
on a real, and just came out and just slung a bunch of interceptions.
That motherfucker got benched and gave him a reason why he got benched again.
On the real, what? But hey, we move on to the New Orleans Saints, who had Derek Carr retire surprisingly. Said he had a nah. I'm gonna leave his wife alone. he said he had
Okay,
he
Ryan
said he had
Clark.
a good talk with Heather. I'm just saying that
Okay,
talk must
Ryan
have been
Clark.
cold. I'm just saying. That
It was
talk made
holy.
you want to stay home. I ain't mad at it. Hey, I like the women that's more homebodies. That's just me personally. But now it seems like when we did the live with Cuz, it was like it's the March for Arch. Is that what you getting out of this whole situation down there in New Orleans?
Yeah, they're gonna be the worst team in this division by far, easily. Nothing on this team makes sense. The defense old as dirt. You got a new offensive head coach when he don't have the quarterback of his choosing. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can say Tyler Show all you want to. That's not the quarterback of his choosing. But he got 7 QBs on the roster. You got Alvin Kamara, who's good, but he just there because he like New Orleans.
Yeah.
And you got basically Kev Jordan on defense line there because he been there forever. So ain't no point of leaving. And then
Right.
Demario Davis, he y'all might as well just let him become the team minister now because that motherfucker not Demario no more. So yeah, I don't like you got Chris Olave who y'all just keep getting hurt because y'all keep throwing hospital balls to his ass and he not realizing he 145 pounds soaking wet with,
Right.
with with some pencils for legs. But yeah, I just don't see much from this team. They got O-line problems, defense problems, QB problems, fucking ownership problem. Everything is a problem.
That's why we was sitting there pounding the desk like, bro, give Kellen Moore a fair shot to be a head coach. Go get Shador. He passed 4 rounds. Go get him. And I'm not saying Shador Sanders is going to come in here and absolutely change the whole trajectory, but damn, I believe he could have changed some of the trajectory. If you would have had a clear, like, bro, if you look at Steve-O, I respect the pickup of the offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr. I respect the pickup for the defensive tackle, but it made no, like, a lot of their offseason moves made no sense, bro. You go get Brandon Cooks, okay, fine. Then you get a safety, then you re-sign Chase Young. You like, okay, but what about your O-line? What about the outside weapons that you're gonna need for Tyler Shuck? I'm just saying. What about all those?
Your
So I think
corners.
that it's going, the corners too. I think it's gonna be a rough first year for Kellen Moore. If he able to just get 5 wins, I think it's just crazy. I don't think he want the 5 wins. If March
Well,
come out, you better
in,
get ready.
in that division, it's possible.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, because
Unfortunately.
they always beat up on each other.
Then he'll sneak a couple wins in.
Yeah, so we'll see with them though, because to your point, them guys gonna be right at the bottom of the map, right where they at
Easy.
already. They gonna just stay down now.
Right there. Right there. The equator.
For real, because they got a lot of things that they still got to address. I think they still like maybe 3-4 years away.
Them niggas 6 years away. What you talking about?
Yeah, because they still don't got no quarterback.
I was like, it don't start till you find your quarterback.
Agreed. Cause I think they might trot out Spencer Rattler. Look, I ain't seen enough of him. I can't make a fair analysis on him, but yeah, he
I
still don't
can't.
have enough around him.
He ain't good. That's what it is. He ain't good.
It is what it is, brother. It is what it is. But hey, you know how we end every episode while we doing it? How the division shape out, bro?
Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina Saints.
Yep, the same way it ended last year. That's the same. That's the same way I'm going with it as well. I don't think it's nothing too much gonna change for this division. Typically, you can have some possibles from worst to first. There is no way in hell that the New Orleans Saints are going from worst to first. Not with that team.
If that happened, something has terribly went wrong with all three other fucking teams. The, the fucking coach died or something. Fucking they quarterback then blew their other quarterback, that blew their knee out, and the defensive coordinator wife then cheating on them, so he taking a leave apps. Like some shit like that gonna have to happen for
Or some
that team.
shit like the Bears a few years ago. Somebody got to raid the damn facility because of
Oh God.
DC being.
Oh my God, and then gonna let motherfuckers steal the goddamn lawnmowers off the goddamn stadium.
They still ain't find them lawnmowers, huh?
I don't think they looked.
They
Like
just said to
they
hell with it,
fucking they
huh?
got them shits. I ain't for
For
look at that,
real,
bro.
they
They
gone.
ain't for look at this big ass city for the two little ass ball boys.
For real, it's over with. But I will add in though, Carolina, they could possibly challenge Atlanta.
Atlanta, I feel like yeah, like that's my entertainables ones. Like if something was to change, I could see Carolina being a little bit better.
For sure. But hey, brother, that's the end of it. You got anything left for the episode? Well, all right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of NFL Central. Go ahead and leave your feedback, comments, concerns down in the comment box below. Let's chop it up about the NFC South. That is it from us. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button and subscribe before you go. Make sure y'all always love football. And y'all already know we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.